What's up, everybody? We are back with a live edition of the Ad Podcast. We are doing a takeover today of the Stagwell Sport Beach with Matt Murphy, the Chief Creative Officer of 72&sunny. Matt, thanks so much for coming on, man.
Thank you for having me, Dylan.
So, Matt, how's your can going so far?
One word, hot. It's also gorgeous here. The morning, there has been some really infectious panels already. Just saw the world's fastest man, Noah Lyle, talking about how it feels to be the world's fastest man, although, maybe he didn't always dream of it, but he's a pretty confident guy, and he was bestowing his speed on everyone in attendance.
I love it. I think that leads pretty naturally into this conversation that we had talked about a little bit off camera, of this idea of 72&sunny's strategy of play to win, and the concept of creativity as a sport, bringing that energy of competition to the work. You guys are obviously amazing at that aspect. So do you want to kind of dive into that a little bit and unpack that?
Sure. It's not lost to me that so we have a very clear mission, which is play to win, which is this. For those of you who don't know, it's just this simple Venn diagram of creative culture meets performance culture.
I love that.
And the intersection being we play to win, because I don't know what else you would do if you're not. you don't play to lose. Specifically from like a creative culture standpoint, we see creativity as it's a team sport, it's a high tempo sport. And if you really think about it now, it's a great time to be a creative. It's a great time with all the tools in the world to think of not creativity as the precious few who sit in an ivory tower waiting for the light to shine upon the idea. It's just like, get it out of your head, demo it, try it, and then share it and build momentum on the power of the idea. Thus it becomes, again, a team sport. And I guarantee you, every time we do that, our audience insights get sharper. Our how we prove it out that this is the idea that they should do is there, because the idea just has to be a seed, but where it goes from there needs to go on a real journey.
Do you foster the type of creative culture where ideas can kind of come from anywhere? It's not just the traditional creative titles, but really can come from any department, any discipline?
1,000,000,000%.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, I do believe it's part of being a creative leader is learning to listen. And it doesn't matter where the idea comes from. Our job is to find not only the right idea, but the exciting idea, and then prove it. We just have to prove it and why it works for the business, and that it's going to deliver the results. It should feel like the thing we just undeniably want to make.
Yeah.
We often talk about what is a great idea, and there's an element of surprise. Like going into culture where everyone's competing, there's so much noise out there. How do we solve this problem in a way that just commands attention, but also feels new and surprising? And as we talk about, AI tools and the rise of just like what everyone has, you still need a human at the switchboard that goes, everyone's doing this, so therefore we need to do that.
Do X.
And then you just, again, you try and prove it out as quickly as possible so that we can bring in the smartest minds to advance the ball if we're going to do the sport
Talking
metaphor.
about the sport metaphor. No, I love that. I think possible this year was kind of a turning point in the conversation around, really brands thinking about like what AI is doing from the perspective of democratizing the ability for challenger brands to come into the market. Back in the day you had 2 or 3 toilet paper companies, then you have 20 in the rise of direct to consumer and e-commerce. And now you have the ability to spin up a company and you'll have 1,000 competitors in a category. Really the only thing that's left is brand and driving awareness from the top of the funnel and creating work that people care about, that resonates, and not only that you can remember and know what a brand does, but you feel something about it. Do you think we are are we crossing the Rubicon of the AI-ification of our industry and pivoting back a little bit to creative?
I'm a big believer in brand building.
Yeah.
It's not easy to build a brand that has a clear mission, that knows who it is, what it stands for. And brand consistency, once you have a brand playing and executing creative iterations and creative storytelling on behalf of brand consistency, is something I believe 72&sunny does incredibly well. what I'm feeling and what I think we're all seeing is that the tools have become more ubiquitous. They're easier to use. So right now, the cost of entry is everyone can play the same game, but I wouldn't call it brand building. Yes, you can make an AI commercial, you can put it on the NBA Finals, but I wouldn't call it brand building. It's a harder job that really is the full funnel job.
Yeah.
And a real brand believes in something bigger than just the single asset. It's in service of something, and those are the exciting ones to work with, and that's not going away. But how we build the brand is evolving.
It's changing.
It's not any one thing. It's a collection of all the things together.
Yeah, I love that. All right, let's pivot a little bit to Sport Beach, where we're sitting today here in beautiful Cannes. This is the third year, correct?
Yep.
So you guys kind of came on the scene with this activation and I think stole the show in a lot of ways. This has kind of become the it venue to hang out, the it party. People want to be here. A lot of people don't know this, but 72&sunny was actually the conceptor and brought this concept to the Stagwell Network and built Coalition to bring it to life. So tell me a little bit about year 3 as you roll into it. What's the reflection of how it's been up to now, and how excited are you guys that you have of what you've built here?
I'll start at the back and
Sure.
work forward.
Yeah.
One, incredibly excited.
Yep.
72&sunny has just such a pedigree in sport and sport culture. It's both as fans of sport, participants of sport, and also just seeing where the future of this industry is going. So it's not lost. None of this is accidental.
Yeah.
Stagwell has been an incredible partner to us to help. I think actually, year 1 you launch and you disrupt. No one saw it coming, and it was about taking this aspect of, you could see the trend of sport changing the game. It was becoming a new conversation, but this element of bringing play to the Croisette. People are playing pickleball. People are playing basketball.
People are
and
getting
they're
up at 7:30 to go on a run, and there's the kind of injecting that. A lot of the things that I do when I'm back home when I want to meet somebody, it's like, let's go play pickleball, let's go run, let's go for a surf. Doesn't always have to be like in an office meeting. I feel like you're bringing that culture of play and people raising their adrenaline levels, their dopamine, and creating a better level of connection because people are here, interacting in a different way that you don't typically think about from like a business event or a conference or something like that.
Look, there's a lot of amazing things that are going on, but the aspect of play versus transacting.
Yeah.
So that was year 1, and what has actually going into year 2 and now in year 3, it is just an absolute relationship builder, and we're both inspiring each other. We're inspiring the industry, but also we're inspiring our current brand partners who we work with. This is the biggest incubator, and so you've got athletes from every rank in every sport intersecting with all of us, and these collisions that happen, which is just even going back to Noah Lyle, he said he just started a production company, and he wants to tell stories that athletes are telling. And a lot of our brands want the same thing. So how all of these
funnel that
weave and intersect, just keep multiplying that. And this is the most exciting space to be in on the Croisette for sure.
Yeah, I love that. And I think it really intersects with this unique moment in sports where you have the ubiquitousness of live sports. You can access it in more places than ever now.
Yep.
More and more games and leagues coming to play, whether it's high school leagues, NCAA sharing revenue with the players. So much change, disruption, and constant momentum. But I think also the idea as an athlete, as a creator, really fans identifying not just with teams but individual players more than ever because they get to see them 365 days of the year in the off season and see them for their full affinity of not just what they bring to the field or the court, but also what they do in gaming and streaming or what they do as an entrepreneur. There's so many other elements and other opportunities to storytell that just lend itself naturally to brand activations and brand partnerships. Can you talk about a story that came to life from a Sport Beach chance encounter from the last 3 years?
I mean, literally, there's just dozens. And just in terms of client A meets athlete B over at our Sun Deck, and just these collisions, whether it's United Airlines or Adobe, it's more like the surprising collision of the learning that a running back actually wants to nerd out on Photoshop.
Totally. Yeah.
And I think without getting into the details and revealing it all, it's just that is what Sport Beach 3.0 is, and that's what this year is about. And we just get most excited about those collisions. Yeah,
I remember when the moment that Adobe. I used to work on the Adobe business in a prior life at a different agency, and when we got Tony Hawk on the phone, and he told us the story of using Photoshop on a black and white computer, rendering his ads,
Amazing.
and then not seeing them until they came. That was the moment they're like, "All right, we're in." So it is authentic product. Those opportunities to have real connections with the brand and understand their life of how those products and brands have impacted them. You know, you don't get to see that every day in social or in or agents kind of playing the gatekeeper, the gatekeeper role. But you don't get those opportunities for them to really understand how they actually love the brands and use them in their everyday lives. So this is a great forum for that.
Absolutely. I mean, this is partnership on display, and I do think like the idea of the gatekeeper. It's fine to have the managers and the agents, but you don't want to limit the potential of what the partnership could merit or become. And I think it's great that everyone almost wants to have their own side hustle or their other aspect of their personality that maybe hasn't been released into the world yet, or even like being like, I didn't know I could do that.
Yeah.
And so that only comes about through like a low stakes environment of just talking.
Yeah,
again, simple shit.
So good, so good. All right, biggest takeaways from being a jurist last year?
So last year I was on the entertainment gaming jury, which really blew my mind about, one, the power of gaming, the massive size and scale of gaming. When we were doing jury intros, when we kicked off, we just went around the room and we just talked about our relationship. And I'm an old school Nintendo kid. I had Super Mario Brother. I had the Nintendo Entertainment System, which again was a very old school lightsaber duck hunt. And then so that was me. And I said after N64, too many buttons, I gave up, and I moved on to making art and drawing and painting, which is awesome too. The girl sitting to my left, Nicole. She's like, "Hi, I'm Nicole. I own 2 esports teams. I'm a professional gamer." And I'm just like, there it is. That's the future. And it was amazing. And I think the experience of being on that jury was that I believe it was like 10 of us. We still are on our WhatsApp thread, always talking.
So it's
and people bond
lifelong
over
community that you take forward with you.
There's people talk about creative ego, and this can line is a celebration of creativity. But you really go into a room. It's a global jury. You go into a room to understand each other and have a conversation about what makes truly great work. And part of it is what you believe, but also it's learning, again, back to learning to listen. And your opinion may change as you understand a piece of work you may not know the details of until someone explains it to you. And so that I think builds friendship and camaraderie, and it's not different from the journey we're on here.
Yeah, love it. All right, I think that's a good place to stop. Matt Murphy, everybody.
Amazing.
Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. Let's go.